Hey guys, so in today's book review I'm going to be talking about a book called New Girl by Paige Harbison, probably saying that wrong. I've had this book for a really long time and I finally decided to get round to reading it because basically I live in a very small flat. It's a one-bedroom flat and it's enough for me and my husband, but I recently found out that I'm pregnant, so I need to be making as much room as possible in order to get ready for that and to just make general space for baby stuff. And unfortunately, a lot of my space is taken up by books. So in my lounge, I've got this big carrier bag, and all the books I want to get rid of are kind of chucked in there, and I'm either planning on selling them on some Facebook site or just giving them away to charity shops and stuff like that. So yeah, I was kind of compiling all the books I've had for a really long time and haven't got around to reading, and this was one of those books that was in that bag because although I'm getting rid of all these books, I want to read as many of them as I can before I get rid of them. I'm not getting rid of all my books, I still have a ton more, so I'm just trying not to buy any new stuff until we manage to move into a new house. So yeah, this is one of the books in that pile, and it's quite a large pile of books I'm getting rid of, and I'm trying to start off with the smaller books and then I'll move on to the larger books. So this was a fairly short book to start with, and like I said, I've had it for quite a while and thought I would give it a go, and then if I didn't fancy reading it or whatever, I was going to give it away. And having read it, I probably am still going to give this away, but not because it was a bad story. It just wasn't really my kind of book. I can't even remember why I picked it up. I think it's on the front. It said here, a spooky tale of passion and cruelty of forbidden love. And I feel like those are quite strong words for this book. I didn't feel like it was a spooky tale really at all. It wasn't really frightening or scary as I wanted it to be. But basically it follows the story of this girl. Well, it follows the story of two different girls who go to this boarding school at two different times. So first off, you have this girl called Rebecca, who goes to this boarding school. She's a new girl, and she has a very strong personality, and she's a very forceful person. She's a very passionate person, and she knows what she wants and how to get it. And she's kind of one of those girls where I don't think I would have been friends with her at school. She comes across as quite nasty at times and quite conniving, but basically she kind of wins everyone around in the school, or so she likes to portray that she has. And yeah, she becomes quite popular until one day she just disappears. And so this space opens up in the school, and this new girl is invited to come and essentially take her place. And this other girl, she doesn't realise that she's taking this other girl's place until she kind of gets to the school and talks to the other students there, and gets a feel of what's happening. And this other new girl, she's not treated very nicely. She's pretty much just known as the new girl, and she's finding it very difficult to fit into the school. She's very much a loner. She's finding it hard to make friends. Her roommate is horrible to her, and you kind of it flickers back and forth with this new girl about learning her new experiences, and then it kind of flips back to the past, and you hear snippets of Becca's tale within this school and how these two girls are going to kind of relate to each other and what's kind of happening. And I don't know, I did enjoy it in the sense that it was a nice kind of easy read. It's kind of one of those throwaway books that you take on holiday with you. I would kind of class it as a young adult book, although it does have quite a lot of sex in this book, but it's not graphic by any means. It just kind of gets referenced, and considering it's a boarding school, these kids seem to be able to get away with a hell of a lot. They're all having sex left, right and centre, getting drunk, having parties, and it's kind of like one of those boarding school stories where you hear about these very strict English boarding schools, and all their parents think it's very prim and proper at these schools, and they're going to get good education, and it's very strict, and they're going to be taught well, and you know, there's all these rules and regulations that they have to follow, but in reality they actually get away with a hell of a lot. So that's the kind of fun part of this book. And like I said, you do like the new girl, the present girl in this book. Becca I didn't like so much, and to be honest, I didn't really care what was going to happen in the end, whether they were going to find her or not. The story does resolve nicely. It kind of resolves how you expect it to. You know, you can kind of guess what's going to happen. It's not really this big mystery and cliffhanger. You can kind of see where it's going. There's a few very unstable characters in this book. A few characters I think you're supposed to like. There's kind of two male characters in this book, Johnny and Max, who are kind of competing against each other in some kind of ways, and I'm not sure whether you're actually supposed to like Max or not. He's supposed to be the main love interest. I actually didn't like him all that much in this book. I didn't like him as a character. I don't know, there's just choices that he made that I thought was a bit silly, and things he says and does in this book that I'm like, oh, why do girls like you so much? It's like, I don't get it. But yeah, so it's not too bad, but like I said, I'm not going to keep it. I'm still going to get rid of it. It's still going to be in my book unhaul pile. But yeah, not bad. Like I said, it's a good holiday kind of thorough read. I did read, because I didn't, like I said, I didn't know anything about this book until I went on Goodreads to, you know, kind of put in that I'd finished reading this book to go towards my 100 book this year challenge. And I saw in a lot of other people's reviews that this is actually a retelling. The original book was called Becca or Rebecca. I don't know who the original author was, I'm sorry. You can look it up on Goodreads if you're interested. And apparently the original story is a little bit different. I don't think it's so dramatised. Like, this does feel like a kind of soap opera kind of drama. Like, I could see this being made into, like, I don't know, some kind of like cheesy, you know, like TV show or something, some kind of drama. But apparently the original was a lot better. I don't know if I would bother reading the original. I think it's still along the similar kind of lines, so especially if the ending is the same, then there wouldn't really be any point. But maybe if you're interested in this kind of story, maybe seek out the original instead of this one and see what you think. But there was kind of a lot of mixed reviews. A lot of people said they didn't like this one, they preferred the original. The characters are portrayed slightly differently in this, because obviously Becca's portrayed slightly differently. Apparently in the original book she was very mysterious, and you know, she kind of drew out different emotions in people, and in this one she just kind of comes across as a bit of a nasty mean girl. So I can see why that might frustrate people who've read the original and then go to read this one. But yeah, like I said, it's easy, little throwaway read, not too bad but nothing too special. So that's pretty much all I have to say, and thank you for watching. If you have any comments, then please leave them down below. And yeah, as always, until next time, bye guys.